We're right with you. The Morning Majority, 5 to 9 on 630 WMAL.
8:38 on WMAL. Larry Kudlow, host of the Kudlow Report on CNBC, 7 o'clock every weekday night. It's on the phone right now. You can also hear the Larry Kudlow Show here on WMAL Saturday nights at 7 o'clock. Larry had the debate last night for the Republicans, Stimulus 2.0 released yesterday by the president, but I did want to start with your interview with Mitt Romney last week. You flew out to Las Vegas. What do you think of his, I believe it is a 59-point plan to get the economy growing again?
Well, I didn't commit all 59 points to memory,
right.
So I may let one or two slip.
It's understandable.
But, on the whole, I thought it was a pretty good plan. And I think the big miss in the plan, which keeps coming up in the debates, is that neither of the frontrunners has any fundamental entitlement reform. Okay, they're talking about Social Security, but they're not telling us what to do about it. And, in the debate last night, I saw some very good solutions, particularly regarding personal saving accounts from Herman Cain and Newt Gingrich, I believe. But I didn't see it from Governor Perry or Governor Romney, and Mr. Romney didn't have one in his plan. He has a pretty good tax plan. It isn't the kind of fundamental reform with a flatter tax rate, but his head's in the right spot. He's in a pro-growth spot. He basically wants to make the Bush tax cuts permanent. He reaches out. He has a middle-class spin on capital gains and dividends, and he does want to lower the corporate tax to 25%, and I think all that's pretty good. And by the way, I think John Huntsman has a very good pro-growth tax plan, too. But, I think Romney is in the right spot. Hopefully he'll get stronger and sharper on the issues. Hopefully they'll all get sharper on the issues. But I will say this. If you're going to debate Social Security, the issue isn't whether it's just a Ponzi scheme. It is a Ponzi scheme, at least in part, because you pay more in than you're going to get out. What are you going to do about it? That's what I'm not hearing. And I'm not hearing that on Medicare. I'm not hearing that on Social Security. I'm not hearing that on a full replacement for Obamacare. I think that's what's missing so far.
What do you think of the president's jobs plan that was released yesterday? Is there anything in there that you like?
Well, I like free trade. I'm a free trader. So how's that? I got one thing that I like. The rest of it I don't like, because I feel the trouble here is we're spending a lot of money on payroll tax cuts to lower the rates, which is okay. That provides an incentive. Lower marginal rates for the employer and the employee is good as far as it goes. But 1 year, temporary, is a waste of money. The incentive effect must go on for multi-years. It must be permanent. This is true for any tax policy. Targeted, temporary tax cuts never work. They didn't work last December when we tried it on the employee side. They're not going to work now. Businesses have multi-year horizons, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10-year horizons. They're not going to hire somebody. They're not going to hire a veteran. They're not going to hire somebody on unemployment. They're not going to hire anybody just because of a 1-year tax cut. It doesn't work that way. And so, therefore, we're going to spend $250 billion on that. It's not going to work. The incentive effects will be, if any, brief and small, won't supercharge the economy. And then the rest of it is just a whole bunch of spending, $200 billion spending to bail out state and local workers. I'm not against infrastructure spending. I am against an infrastructure bank. But infrastructure is one of these Keynesian elixirs. It's not going to supercharge the economy. Yeah, we need infrastructure. We need to repair schools. But that doesn't create entrepreneurship.
Is there any chance you could get sort of incidental benefit out of the payroll tax extension because people think, oh, well, maybe this will become permanent? Like because it's strung on for a while now?
I don't think so. I think that it would have to be made clear, Mary Catherine, it would have to be made clear that it's going to be permanent. You won't see the kind of action you want. It doesn't. Let's look at it this way. You keep more of what you earn,
right?
And on the employer side, it's the cost of hiring is cheaper. But you have to know that that's going to be in place. This will be, for a long time, this will be the second straight temporary charge. And that sends a signal that this particular administration doesn't want full-fledged tax reform. I mean, to me, the weakest part of this whole expansion is not consumption, it's investment. And what we should be doing is creating long-term investment incentives. And the simplest, easiest layup would have been corporate tax reform, where the rates come way down, and in return for that, the deductions, some of the deductions go away. That would have been the simplest, easiest thing to do, along with free trade. We need to create long-term economic growth incentives in order to solve our short-term malaise. That's an odd thing, but you can't just run short-term. People want things in place. They want some confidence and certainty about the future. I don't know why. And the financing of this, by raising all these taxes, you got a $450 or $460 billion tax hike to finance this, is crazy. It's absolutely nuts.
Right.
It's just a huge deterrent to economic activity. And going after targeted industries, going after the deductions of upper-income people, going after hedge funds. Hedge funds didn't cause the problem.
Right.
I mean, if you want full-fledged reform and get rid of these unnecessary deductions, I'm fine with that. But if you just take the deduction out, then you're causing tax rates to go up. That isn't going to spur growth.
Yeah, I thought Newt made a good point on that long-term economics. He said if you actually get people working again, that's going to help you tremendously with Social Security because you're going to have more of the payroll taxes coming out because people have jobs.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Growth will always solve the Social Security problem. The problem I have with Social Security is the rate of return on your payroll tax investment is very low. It's a very progressive system. You'd be better off allowing the option, at least, of people to take their money and set up their own personal accounts. I think that should be part of any solution. Why did any of them endorse the retirement? Or at least not the big two, not Perry and Romney. They didn't endorse the longer retirement age, did they?
I don't think so.
That should be easy. That's an easy one. Why aren't they going there? I didn't hear them endorse any cost of living adjustments, any benefit, even a tiny benefit adjustment. That should be an easy one.
All right, Larry, we got to run. Thank you so much, as always. We appreciate you coming on the show.